now it's the beginning of the new year. I'm pretty sure you have set goals for yourself, um, in your life, in your career. Um, since you're here, I understand, we all share the passion for data. So probably you have this for the new year, um, as a goal you want to achieve, to find a better job, or maybe to transition to a data career. Whatever the purpose, we're going to spend 2 hours tonight and talking about this career path as business intelligence. And you may have heard different names, DA/BI. So data analytics or business intelligence. Some of you probably have heard business analytics. I think that's a good way to describe, this hybrid career path. So you can actually put all three together, BA/DA/BI. So we start with business needs and requirements, and we collect data from everywhere. We use data to solve business problems, to answer business questions, to support business decisions, create value for business and customers. And we also have BI. BI is probably the highlight of this process. BI involves communication, and it's visual storytelling. So you can see in front of yourself this amazing dashboard. And that is actually created by our bootcamp students. We use this to communicate the insights to the business team. Well, we can help the business team to communicate insights across the organization, from top down, across different functional areas. So this is indeed a very interesting and promising career path. Regardless of the name, BA, DA, or BI, some of the talents, they can do all three, or some of them may have different focus. You focus more on BA or DA or BI. If you have developed a professional range, and if you can cover, if you have a long arm, if you can cover the process end to end, and you can make a lot more. So speaking of job market, so I like to start with, just give me a second to admit one more person. Okay, so we have 27 people, including myself and Adam. I also see Chen Peng, one of the students. Otherwise, most of you, I don't know. You probably are the existing members of the meetup we create. In case you want to, get in touch with me, and I will leave with you my email address later on. If you want to talk about your career or maybe your next move, I would be more than happy to do that. So to start off, we want to talk about the job market. I'm going to use Indeed. I'd like you to also do this instead of just doing a general search in Indeed. I'd like you to Google for Indeed Advanced Search. And when we're in the data space, we can do much better than a generic search. So search for Indeed Advanced Search, and then you have this one, and click on it. So over here, I'd like you to maybe type data. So this box means every job Indeed returns must include the keyword and data. And then you can leave this open, but go to this one. I'm going to include a bunch just to demonstrate what I meant. You can put in multiple keywords or key phrases, but use comma to separate them. So for instance, I'm going to search for all data jobs. In this case, I can put analyst and then scientist, and then maybe engineer. What else? Maybe machine learning, because it's a key phrase, with 2 words, you want to put them within quote. So you can do this. What else? Maybe you can do machine learning like this. You can do machine learning ops. So go down. This is location. So you can put Toronto. I'm in Toronto, so I can put Toronto or the city you're based in, and then you can change the radius to, maybe 50 or maybe 100. This is a very important box. Please don't take any time. You only want to look at the fresh new jobs. So change this to since yesterday. And now click Find Jobs. So this search returns 291 jobs. And if you look at the jobs, some of the companies, oh, wait a minute, this is actually US. Maybe that's because, this radius is too big. I'm going to include just GTA, okay? But still, how come we have the US jobs? That's odd. That's interesting. Yeah, these are all US jobs. Oh, I think that's because I use Indeed.com. Okay. Sorry about that. Let me just go to Indeed Canada, maybe. Advanced search. Okay, check this one. All right. But this is still advanced search. Okay. Anyways, I'm trying to show you, a more advanced search so you can use it to maybe in that, let me just configure it over here. This is within 24 hours and location, Toronto. So I'm going to put over here data, and then within the bracket, you can put analyst. And you can put all scientist, all engineer. Let's do that. Oh, I forgot to put Toronto. Okay, so this makes more sense. Oh, let's change again, 24 hours. All right, so we only have 55 jobs. So I'm telling you, probably a year ago or 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I used the same kind of search. I usually get hundreds of jobs, like 500, 600, and sometimes 800 jobs. This is telling me the market becomes a lot more competitive, a lot more competitive. So I'm going to show you a more advanced search. I already have this. Okay, it's right here. So you can see the keywords. I have a lot more. So data within bracket, all kinds of keywords. See that? It's a long list of keywords and key phrases. So even this one, with the other parameters, more or less the same, 24 hours, 25 kilometers of Toronto, I only get 122 jobs. However, this is relatively accurate. You can see this is junior data analyst, HR. So HR function. Sometimes the title could be people analytics or HR analytics, and BI analyst. Survey. This is analyst business intelligence. So this is more related to DA. So it's about collecting, processing data, ETL data testers. And this is BMO, so bank, workforce reporting and analytics manager. Nielsen, client manager, retail analytics. BMO again, data analyst. So you can see different kinds of titles, but essentially, this is a data job, at different levels: junior, intermediate, senior. Okay, so there's still jobs. I want you to realize that doesn't matter if the economy is doing well or not so well. All you need is one job. It's more competitive, yes, but if you find the right way, you can still get hired. So that's the topic for today. We will talk about the bootcamp and what the students learn during the bootcamp, and after the bootcamp, what kind of support we provide to help the students land data jobs. So first of all, this is our website, WeCloudData.com. And if you click on the homepage and click on Learning Paths or maybe courses, you will see bootcamps for short courses. And if you click bootcamp programs, you will see data analytics bootcamps and within the bracket BI. Okay, and we also have data science bootcamps, data engineering, AI bootcamps, and DevOps. So this is just one best place for you to find all the information. So including the curriculum, the timing, and the cost. And after the bootcamp, we also provide career services. So WeCloudData is owned by WeCloudData, 100% owned by WeCloudData. And we allocate a portion of your tuition, and we invite our successful alumni to come back and help the new generation of students. So we pair the mentor-mentees one-on-one. And if you click on mentors, you can see the mentor profile and go down. So you can see different, people in different industry with different job title. So if I click Rohan, and this is how we profile the mentors based on the roles and the industry and the skills. And there is a short bio and the kind of career services they provide. So Rohan is a BI analyst working at Air Canada. And he has worked in these roles, or maybe he is familiar with these roles in these industries. And here are the skills, or maybe the use cases for the skills, or where they apply the skills. And we try our best to find the right industry mentors for your targeted jobs in the targeted industry. So once again, career services is covered by your tuition. And we, as a matter of principle, we, provide the assurance we will support you until you find a job. If you don't give up on yourself, we will not give up on you. Okay, so this is the second one I want you to know. Once again, I'm going to show you a graph. So this is a picture, I think, that summarizes really well the skill sets for DA/BI. I put this row in comparison with data scientist, data engineer, and machine learning engineer. I'm pretty sure some of you may have questions. What's the difference between different types of data jobs? First of all, data is not IT, so the developer jobs are not here. Data programming, we also do programming, but it's very different from how developer do programming. And this is data programming versus developers. They do a lot of programming and coding, but that is application programming. So if you look at the spider chart, and we have 11 skills, it's the same skill set, same 11 skills, but different role has different focus. So I want you to look at the 5-point scale, from 0 to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I want you to look at all the skills that are 5 points. So over here, you can see data analyst does a lot of reporting, using data to create charts and graphs and maybe some commentary as well. So essentially, you're trying to convert the data into insights, maybe the questions into some SQL queries. So this is, some major responsibilities for data analyst world. And you're also supposed to bring out the business insight, communicate the trends and patterns and relationships that you see in the data back to the business team. And a lot of times, the way you communicate the business insight involves storytelling. And a lot of times you use visualization to tell stories. So if you put these four together, I think you have a fairly good idea, what a data analyst does in comparison to data scientists. Okay, reporting, BI, storytelling, data visualization. So now, if you take a look at data scientists, once again, we only look at the 5-point skills. So over here, you can see statistics is really, really important for a data scientist. So it doesn't surprise you, a lot of people coming from stats or math background, they're well positioned to become a data scientist. But once again, they also need to build up skills in other areas, but statistics is one of the most important areas. And you also do a lot of experimentation. Some of you probably have heard of A/B testing, right? And you separate the population into control and test group, and you apply different strategies, let's say strategy A and strategy B. And if the separation of control and test groups is pure random, then the outcome, the difference of the outcome, you can attribute to the different strategy. So you can use that to identify a better strategy or to improve the business performance. So A/B testing or experimentation is something you do quite often, even on the daily basis. And machine learning modeling. Essentially, the formula isn't as important as the methodology you use to build a model to predict the future, right? So this is data scientist. It's important to know the difference so you know what you're targeting, you're trying to get into. Data engineer, in comparison, have different focus as well. If you look at the 5-point scale, so this is data pipeline. Data engineer builds the infrastructure, and nowadays a lot of service is provided on the cloud. So data pipeline quite often are also on the cloud. So data engineer is very familiar with the structured data, all kinds of database systems. They will do is it CRUD, C-R-U-D. So they can build a database management system. It's basically the backend that we use to power analytics for AI solutions. And this is very, very similar to the backend of an application. Okay, so remember, data engineers spend most of the time coding, programming, and building infrastructure. So this is machine learning engineer. Machine learning is modeling. It's essentially the same. But data scientists build the model, and machine learning engineer, they implement the model. Okay, so you can see the 5-point scale involves deployment, right? They also need to learn machine learning modeling, but more importantly, they need to be very good at maintaining or supporting machine learning operations. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. I hope you have a fairly good idea, what DABI is. If you have any questions, please feel free to type your question in chat. So I will try to answer your question as we move forward. So I'm going to minimize this. So what do we do during the bootcamp? I'm going to show you maybe our learning management system. I think that's a good way for you to see in your bare eyes. So this is our own learning management system. So these are different cohorts or different classes. I'm going to open a more recent one, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to open this one. So essentially, if you look at the chapters, these are basically the courses. We teach you the data fundamentals, including 5 tools: Advanced Excel, SQL, and Python. So SQL and Python are 2 programming languages, and SQL is also a database. Okay, and most organizations, they organize their internal data into SQL databases. So for DA and BI analyst, SQL takes higher priority over Python. And when you apply for jobs, if the employer gives you a task, very likely it's in SQL, not Python. But for a data scientist student, and they need to be super strong with Python. So what we use Python for? Python is very good to handle unstructured and external data. Unstructured doesn't have to be table, data tables. Could be audio files, could be pictures, could be videos. So Python is very good at that. And Python is also very good at machine learning. Python is open source. So there are millions of people in the world, and they work together for free to improve the programming language. So there are many free libraries and packages that you can use, including the statistical machine learning libraries that you can use to train the model, to develop your model. So once again, for DABI students, SQL takes higher priority. We still learn Python, but SQL is definitely heavier than Python. We also teach you two different visualization tools, Tableau and Power BI. For the longest time, the world is divided, and some people use Tableau, some people use Power BI. So Power BI has Microsoft behind it. It's getting more and more popular, and it's part of the ecosystem that most companies already have. So if a company is a Microsoft shop, obviously, Power BI is a natural choice. So for our students, you learn both Tableau and Power BI, so you can cover more jobs. And after the data fundamentals, we will give you a lot of opportunities to practice and build project. And capstone project happens at the very end. The other project are from different industries. So we have project from supply chain, fintech, or financial service. We have traditional CRM marketing campaign project. We also have new digital marketing project. And this is credit risk management. I think it's related to financial service as well. We also teach you Power Platform, so including Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent. And just recently, we put Power Platform working together with GPT, the open source, not open source, OpenAI generative AI. So this becomes a really, really powerful that you can use to automate repeatable tasks, and at the same time increase the productivity and reduce the cost. So we also have project for retail, and eventually we help you put all project together into a very nice portfolio on the website. And this is offboarding. So this is basically time we offboard you from the bootcamp and we onboard you into career services. Do you have any questions? Okay, let me try to see some of the questions. Please, where does the business intelligence analyst fit? Business intelligence analysts can work on functional problems. I think you have seen HR, marketing and sales, and what else? Product analytics, and basically every department, every function, they require BI. So think of BI as the third stage of the data process. Like I said before, the first stage is business analytics. So you make sure we work on the right problem, right? And the second stage, we look for the right data to solve that problem. So it's a lot of dirty work and it's time consuming, but that's actually where you build the most important skills to work with massive data from everywhere. So if you have good data, when I say good data, you get data from everywhere, you clean them up, and you transform them into usable format, and you actually collect them into a data model. And then you're ready to plug this data model into Power BI or Tableau. So you go into the third stage. So you build visuals, you build dashboards to communicate the insight. So your question, where does BI analyst fit? So BI analyst is the highlight, is at the last stage of BA. So if you look at BI, if you also look at AI, what's the difference? So think of BI as understanding the past, what happened in the past and why it happened. And think of AI as predicting the future. So knowing what we know about the past and why, how can we make it better for the future? So this could involve how to monetize opportunities or how to solve problems before it gets bigger, for the future. We learn from the past and we become smarter, we make smarter decisions for the future. Okay, so the second question is SQL more important for data engineering? I would say yes, because data engineer builds the infrastructure that a machine learning model can run on it, right? So a lot of the data that you feed the model is already in a database or maybe in a nice format. So it's basically structured data. So you will need to be quite familiar with database management system, how to make the query runs fast, how to use less resources, because resources means money, and if a company has everything on the cloud, Microsoft or Amazon or Google, they will charge you by usage, right? So a data engineer is responsible for performance tuning, they calculate how much memory and you need, or how much storage you need, right? That kind of stuff. Okay, and Eric, trying to find where the certificate is on the website. Okay, that's something we can help you later on. So we do provide certificates, so it's a program that we register with the Ministry of Colleges and University of Ontario. So it's accredited, but a certificate is not the most important thing. I think most of you already have a degree from university and you're interested in this program because you want to find a job. And that's the only thing we do, with the training and career services, we help you find a job. I meant compared to Python, yes. Yeah, that's more important for a data engineer. But for data scientists, Python is definitely more important. Yeah. And for data engineering, they also need to learn a lot of tools and techniques for cloud computing. Yeah. Okay, so with this, I'm going to show you, one of the projects that students built. And this is quite impressive. So in 2 weeks, the students can complete this capstone project. And this looks just like an application. It's a BI solution that you can provide the business team. So this is a very high level. The company's CEO probably will just look at the first page, the homepage, and at a glance, they know the net sales, margin, the number of stores, the number of products you carry, right? And you also see the smaller fonts, more information, quantity and margin, right? If you look at a different year, it's possible you just click this filter and you can change year to 2020, last year. We only have data for the 3 years. So you can make further change to channel. I only want to see online. Then everything changed, right? Yeah. So you can change continent, product category, subcategory, brand, and store. But if you're not the CEO, if you're VPs and directors and managers or the employees, you can also use this dashboard to answer a lot of your own questions. So that's the reason why we have this header. It helps you to navigate to different tabs. And these are different dimensions. So for instance, this is geography. This is about location. So if we organize sales team into, let's say in Canada, West, Central, East. So the sales manager in the West, they want to go into geography and then maybe filter to, the West region, right? But if you are the product manager, you pay more attention to the product hierarchy. So all the way from category to subcategory to every product. And then if you're the store manager, you probably will want to go there. So let's go to geography first. So once again, you can see it's very well designed. And we have 3 most important KPIs: sales, profit, and quantity. And if you toggle between the KPIs, and everything will reflect that KPI. And I change back to net sales. So now, if you look at sales globally, then this is the total. But if I only want to look at North America, then this is North America. If you go near Canada, so you see the tooltip, go to US. So this is very well, designed and very well built, right? And if you click this again, you go back. So this is the revolving flow. So if I go to product, once again, the design is very consistent, the same KPIs, but you can look at different product category. So I only want to look at cell phones. So if you click cell phone, then you only see a cell phone. If you click again, maybe computer is more important. If you click again, you go back. So this is SKU, the number of product you carry. So this is a great AI tool. It's deep composition. So you can break down net sales and see, which product category contribute the most to the total net sales. So over here, you can see computer contribute the most. But if you want to drill down within computers, you can see, laptops. Oh, actually, projectors and screens contribute more than laptops. So on and so forth. And Pareto chart is also very useful. This is what we use to apply the 20-80 rule, because if you look at the head and long tail, so the head of the curve, the 20% of the product actually account for maybe 80% of the sales, right? But this is at the subcategory level. So if you want to roll up to category level, it will look like this. If you want to drill down to product level, it will look like this, okay? And this is something fancy. Once again, it helps you to identify the most important nodes, right? That contribute the most to net sales. So very quickly, you can see the store dimension. Very nice view. And this is a linear model that help you to predict, the number of employees based on the store size and manufacturer. So this is the supplier. So you can see, this supplier is the biggest one. If I click this, then everything will reflect on this supplier only. So it's pretty comprehensive, right? I think if you can create a dashboard like this, 100%, I guarantee you, you will receive the wow effect, from the employer, and this will help you convince the hiring manager that you will be successful on the job. And what's more important, because you have done all this, everything you put on the resume, you feel very comfortable, and because you can defend it, right? And you can use this to practice, how to present your project over and over. And during the interview, you can ask for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and to, share the screen and present the project to the hiring team. And so that way you control the conversation, and it really, really helps you to win the job. So compared to the people who only has a resume, and you definitely have advantage. Okay, from Michelle, how do you run data engineering project without running up a huge AWS bill, but still use EC2 and S3 style resources? That's a very technical question. I'm not sure I can understand. I can answer this one, but that's what a data engineer does, right? So you provision the resources and you find the best solution to save on the bill. But at the same time, you provide the infrastructure that the company needs to run any solutions, right? Actually, I'm going to show you in a bit. Now, even for DA and BI bootcamp, we will learn Power Platform, and it's part of the Microsoft ecosystem. It's amazing what you can do. For individuals, for learning purposes, it's actually all free. It's amazing. Everything is free. You can get 2 licenses. One license if you want to use the database in Dataverse. You have 90 days. Otherwise, everything else is free. Okay. So I'm going to, in fact, let's just go there. So this is something we also have, for the bootcamp. You can imagine how much the curriculum has evolved and how much the market, has evolved. It becomes a lot more competitive today. So just for your information, I think it's important for us to go through this real quick. So this is a device ordering app that you can build in one day, in a day. And this is a low code solution. But you don't need to know heavy coding. You don't need to be a developer. So let's look at the background. So Contessa is a large company with employees working in different locations. Its policy states that employees can replace computers every 3 to 5 years. Historically, employees have had a poor experience using paper or Excel to manage device orders, which were inconvenient, inefficient, and impossible to collaborate. So here's the requirement. This whole thing is BA, business analytics or business analysis. Okay, so the requirement is the company or the employee, they need a desktop. They need an application that runs on desktop or mobile to simplify and automate device order placement, approval, and fulfillment process. So we have different actors. This is so this is a user. So this is correct. I should do this. So so user is employee, and the back office staff, they handle the order. So they're the admin. And if you want to order a high-end computer, the expensive computer, and you may need approval from your manager. And then the system itself is built to automate a lot of things, and user employees. Wait a minute. So this is something I should say, this is after. This is rows. Okay, so this is actor within this application, and this is the actual role they have in the company. So if you go through this, you'll understand what I mean. So it has 12 steps. The first step, user, as an employee, you browse a catalog of devices, and then you select some, so you have a catalog of computers, all kinds of computers, and then you select a few computers to compare. So you want to compare maybe the RAM storage, and maybe the size of the screen, stuff like that, for the selected devices. And eventually, finally, you select one computer to order. And then it can automatically enter the order details into a form, and then you can submit it. And the system will capture and store your orders. We'll store the data in a database, in Dataverse, okay? And the admin, the backend, back office staff, they are able to view all orders from, employees in different locations. The system, if the price of the device exceeds $1,000, will automatically send the approver, your manager, an email request for approval. And the approver will receive that email, and he has the option to either reject or approve the device order. And if he rejects the order, he will need to provide the reason in the comments. And then the system will update the status of the device order, and also send the user, the employee, an email to update the employee on the status of the order. And then the admin, the back office staff, will be able to view all sent and replied email requests. And after that, they will, procure, they will source the computers from the manufacturers or suppliers, and then have the computers configured and delivered to the employee. See, this is clear, right? And it's actually a bit complicated. So the constraint is all developers, the IT department is busy, okay? Like in every company. So all developers are dedicated to building customer-facing apps. So there is no developer bandwidth to develop internal apps. Even if there is bandwidth, it will be time-consuming and expensive. This kind of requests usually sit in the backseat and will never get built, right? So here's the solution with Microsoft Power Platform. So with Power Platform, business team, you don't have to rely on IT. Business team can build internal apps in a day. Can you believe it? In one day, use Power Apps to create the device ordering app, and use Dataverse to store the orders in the cloud, and use Power Apps to create order fulfillment. And this is model-driven app. And then use Power Automate and Cloud View to automate order approval workflow. Okay, so having said that, I'm going to show you what this application looks like. And I feel very excited because this is something our students will build. So this is new. This is something we add to the cohort that will start February 26th. Okay, so I'm going to run this. So this will look like you can see this is the tablet, right? I can change it to phone. I can change it to phone. So this is the phone. This is a phone, a much bigger phone. But I go back to the tablet. Okay. And then, for instance, if I look at different brands, so you can browse on different computer. That's pretty cool, right? So Samsung, Sony. So let's say I'll just take this one. So I'm going to select this, maybe this, and then compare these two items. So now you can see the specs. So if eventually I want to go with this, and then you can submit the device. So it's running. So I'm going to show you, oh, okay, I can confirm. I'm going to show you on my cell phone. Wait. I don't know if you can see it. There's an app. It's Power Apps. It's blurry, right? So I'm going to open it. It looks similar. Sorry, it's too blurry. But I'm telling you, you can actually run this on your cell phone. So after this, I'm going to show you the backend. So for instance, this is the workflow. When a row is added, modified, and deleted, and then you will start and wait for an approval. Is it approved? Yes. And then you go down this route. If it's rejected, and you go down this route, right? So let's say rejected, and you can open it. So you can click edit, and then this will show you what to do. So basically, here is the flow that the back office staff will see. Device requested 5 hours ago, and this is capital approved, and order placed, device received, and delivered to the employee. So you can also use Microsoft Teams. Remember, I just submit a order, right? Let me just refresh this. And all of this is free. You can learn this during the bootcamp. Oh, so there's a new activity, you see? Yeah. So pretending I'm the manager, I want to reject this. So I will reject. Yeah. But I didn't say why. Maybe I should say, it exceeds the budget of 1,000, right? Okay, so this is something just to very quickly show you. Let me just show you what we meant by Power Platform plus AI. My computer is running slow for some reason. Okay, here. So you can see we will be able to learn the Power, whatever. So we have Power BI, Power Apps, and Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. This is AI, and Power Pages. You can use this to build a website. But this is underlying infrastructure. So we have data connectors. You can connect this to all kinds of data. And this is the AI builder, and this is Dataverse. The same infrastructure Microsoft Dynamics is built upon. Okay. Any questions? So let me look at a question. Are students scraping that, or do you have a particular API you are accessing? In fact, every student will build the app from scratch. Yeah, from scratch. And it's all free. It's all free. Microsoft Power Platform is completely free. But we just need to use the right use cases. So if you go through this, you will understand, I'm not a developer. I'm a business user, but I can also build applications. And this is the kind of skill you will not be able to learn in school. In universities and professors teach from textbooks. And can you imagine, when something is printed and probably it's already outdated, big time. From SS, is the entire bootcamp free? No. WeCloudData is in the business to make a profit. So we are a private college. But the reason we grow so fast, that's because every employee within the company, we live by the same API, the ability to help the students find jobs. We bid, some of the large university and schools in terms of placement rate. So it's not free. In fact, the tuition is not cheap. So the BI bootcamp, if it's the light bootcamp, I believe it's $7,000, including career services. You have the option to choose the self-paced. So it's recorded bootcamp. You can watch the videos. It's cheaper, but you still have access to the TA resources in case you're stuck. But that requires you to be very self-disciplined. But if you prefer the live learning environment, I would recommend the live bootcamp, which will start February 26th. Okay, so they get a clean SQL database, and then they use those tools to build that app. So we provide the data. So for instance, the computer catalog. So we give you that data, and you can store it in SharePoint or maybe OneDrive or maybe your local drive. Doesn't really matter. I think we prefer to save everything, on cloud. Maybe SharePoint is a better choice. Okay, any question? Okay, so if no question, I'm going to talk about the career services. First of all, what kind of skills you will, so I'm converting the bootcamp into the bullet points you can put on the resume. If you look at this, these are just sample bullets that you can use. So for instance, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It doesn't have to be these many, but you should include at least 7, maybe 6 to 8 bullets. We even include Excel. Oh, in fact, speaking of Excel, let me show you something. So this is just a small test our student received. And one student received this test from Ontario Ministry of Health. So it's a government job. And she did the test in one day. She only had 24 hours to do the test. It's a very simple case. So she didn't bother using fancy tools like Power BI. So she used just Excel. Even Excel, you can build dashboard like this, right? So you see, if you select a center, everything will change. And if you select the center area, you will change. So it's a dashboard. It's about PET scan, right? In Ontario. The case is about capacity planning. As you can imagine, everybody experienced this during COVID. If you need to go to a test center so they will collect your sample, and the microbiologist will do a test, and then they will tell you whether it's positive or negative, right? So we remember that. But this is PET scan, So the problem is there are this many test centers in Ontario, cover different geography, different areas, and then it is used to perform different type of tests. And these are the areas the patients are located. So the problem is some of the test centers, they're short staffed, or you could say there are too many patients and they cannot handle. And you also have test centers, they don't have any patients. So the people and the equipment just sit there idling. So this row is being built in the government to balance the workload with the capacity. Because the solution is not necessarily, investing in more equipment or maybe hire more staff, because clearly you can see, some of the centers, the patients by FTE is extremely low, and some of the centers are very high, right? So these are the patients per machine by center. So patients by FTE, patients by machine. So it's uneven. So that is telling you the solution might as well be, we can reroute, or we can redistribute maybe the FTE and machine, or we can reroute the patients to the underserved. Should I say underserved? Or maybe underserved centers, right? So as you can imagine, this is actually the speaking notes of that student. Over here, the conclusion is patients increased 2009 to 2015, and 4,000 patients were not served over 5.5 years. And it's not necessarily a capacity problem, which is workload greater than capacity. It's not that. It's an optimization problem, because some centers operate over capacity, other centers operate under capacity, evidenced by uneven distribution of patients across centers. So the solution is to reallocate the capacity or reroute the patients to balance the patients versus capacity over time, which is essentially capacity planning. So the student is able to finish this task, and then she's called back to present the case. She did a fine job understanding the problem and also the roles and the responsibility of this analyst job. So I'm telling you, even using simple tool like Excel, this individual received the first interview, which is technical, and she submitted the test, and she was called back for the second interview, and she received the job offer all within the same week. And it's well paid, and I think it's 85,000. So this is telling you, you need to understand the business, you need to understand data, and you need to be well trained, so you can clearly communicate the insight back to the business. So if you can combine all three, and you will have much better chances of landing a DA, maybe /BI job. Okay, so I'm looking at the question again. How do Power BI salary compare to other stacks like BigQuery and Looker? I wouldn't say salary is different based on tool you use, but Power BI definitely cover more jobs because it's Microsoft, right? And BigQuery and Looker are Google, are GCP. Two different ecosystems, but in this space, I think Microsoft is a leader. In your case, I would say, Edward, you don't need to choose. You can study both Power BI and Looker. You can learn MySQL, SQL Server, and BigQuery. Because if you know how to use Power BI, it wouldn't be hard for you to pick up Tableau or Looker. And if you have learned one SQL database system, such as SQL Server, it wouldn't be hard for you to pick up MySQL. I mean, the syntax is largely the same, and the IDE may look a little different, but it takes just a little while for you to get comfortable, right? So in fact, let me just go back to here. Database system over here. Okay, Edward, I hope you're looking at the screen. So database system, we asked the students to put down MySQL, SQL Server, Postgre, MongoDB, AWS Redshift, and BigQuery, okay? And not only that, because behind all this database system is the same data architecture, right? So you should put ERD, entity relationship diagram, RDBMS, relational database management system, star schema, dimensional data modeling, right? So this shows you really understand the data structure, database design, right? And some people say, oh, you don't need to learn SQL. You can just learn Power BI. That is not true. Power BI looks easy. It's easy to start, but it's not easy to become good at it because underlying Power BI visualization is actually dimensional data modeling. So SQL is extremely important, not because you can use it to run queries. SQL really helps you to understand the data structure, okay? And if you build a good data model, and the visualization and dashboard becomes super easy, all right? So this is a database system, and for instance, programming, you put SQL and Python, and SQL before Python, not just SQL, because everybody puts SQL on their resume. You're gonna be different. So you will mention some specific advanced features, like window functions and nested queries and complex join and performance tuning, right? So that is sending a message that you are a senior, not a junior. You're a power user, you're an advanced data analyst, okay? And this is how you stand out and differentiate yourself from the crowd. Speaking of data visualization and storytelling, so that's why I recommend you put Power BI here, you put Tableau here, and maybe for you, Edward, you can put Data Studio and Looker. I think Looker is acquired by Google, all right? So you don't just put Power BI and Tableau, because even the second-year university students, they put Power BI and Tableau. And every tool they have heard of on their resume. How do you stand out? So you're going to put within bracket some advanced features like ETL, data modeling, DAX, tabular editor, DAX Studio, custom visuals, interaction design, right? So that's how you stand up. You get it? Yes? So over here, it's something we just mentioned, Power Platform and GPT. So you create customized business applications and create smart chatbots to answer complex questions, automate repetitive low-value tasks, and free up employees for high-value tasks to increase productivity and reduce costs. Okay, any employer, when they see this, they want to hire you, right? Because they hire one individual and probably can help the company do 10 people's job, right? That just makes sense, make a lot of sense to the employer. All right. So these are the skills. So the bootcamp will completely change your resume for skills and also the project experience. So for instance, for CRM email campaign, you will put this much. I think we talk about HR analytics. Okay, over here. You can put HR analytics, support talent acquisition, design, and build a self-serve BI solution to enable data-driven decisions, capacity planning, and efficiency measurement, and stuff like that. And we also have one for real estate. Okay, over here, real estate. So it's a combination of domain knowledge, data skills, and the best way to show it is through project, because the project has objectives and goals, and has a bunch of KPIs and dimensions, and it also involves a process to define the problem, collect the data, and communicate the insight. And if possible, you can also tell people how complex, how hard it is. You can show people how big the database is, how many tables, how many rows, and some of the tables have 15 million rows. So clearly, if you try to run the SQL query, you need to consider performance, the use of memory and speed, right? So you use those to tell stories. And the story is beautiful. You can use story to showcase your capability and also to demonstrate, to prove that you have the experience and you have experienced the challenges and the frustrations. And that is how the hiring team and the hiring manager click with you. Because the moment you mention the same challenges and frustration, and they will laugh and they will smile. That's exactly what we experienced. And we want you to join our team and to help automate maybe 100 reports based in Excel and build 5 dashboards to replace 100 Excel-based reports. Okay, so Jacob, so the task also requires insight. Yeah, absolutely. So just picture your row in the middle between IT and business team. So IT, they support the systems and applications, and every system and application has a backend, has a database. So IT, they generate data, but they don't use data, right? And business team, they want to use data, but they don't know how, okay? So that's why that creates the need for you. You as a data professional and the data team and data department is sitting between IT and business. So IT is your supplier of data, raw data, okay, raw data, large amount of data, dirty, unclean data, right? And the business is your customer. So the business will need data desperately, to solve problems and make decisions. And then you can create reports and dashboards and solutions, BI solutions, to help the business, do their day-to-day job, to help the managers, directors, and VP to make high-level decisions. I hope I'm clear. Yeah, so this is really is my passion. So when I talk about this career path, I feel excited because you know what, your work is visual. BI is visualization, and it has the visibility. Because your work is visible, so you're visible. And if you do a good job producing reports and dashboards, you will get noticed. Imagine every VP has a go-to person, and that go-to person could be you, right? So if you are very good with data, very quickly you learn about the business, and you know just one best way to communicate that insight. And then the VP will really become very dependent on you, right? So they will need you, the VP will need you to help him communicate with the other VPs, or maybe with his senior VPs. And guess what? Your work will go around and people say, who did this? Wow, amazing, right? And then your work will help you connect with the people with power, with opportunity. So I can testify this because this skill helped me with my career, and I consider this a fast track for management jobs. Yeah. So you need to be somewhat technical, and then that really helps you to get ahead, get promoted and make more money. Okay. Any questions? So let me do time check. So that's almost 9:30. I encourage every one of you to ask me questions. If no questions, I can very quickly show you a resume. So this is a very good resume. I think you can see, the skills are very similar to what you saw a while ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 bullet points. Very concise, very easy to read. In fact, you need to put skills into 6 to 8 categories, and you bold the category. Even if people are impatient, if people don't have the patience, if people only look at the category, programming, database system, data visualization, storytelling, statistics, machine learning, business analysis, business domain knowledge, project management, they will walk away with the impression that, oh, Zoe is not only technical, she has the rare combination of business and data and, people skills, right? So that really help you with the communication. And then I need to mention the bootcamp itself is $7,000, but this doesn't include the real-time project. So data science program and data engineering program is more expensive. So data science is 15,000, and data engineering is 10, maybe 11 or 12,000. But that includes the real-time project. So this individual, Zoe, she purchased the real-time project on top of the bootcamp, a couple $1,000. So if you add them together, the bootcamp curriculum plus the real-time project, that's about 10,000. So it's on par with data engineering and data science. Okay, but it really depends. if you already have had some experience, and then you may not need the real-time project. And for new grads from school, when you don't have any experience, I think this is worthwhile. Okay, so what happened is BeamData is another subsidiary of WeCloudData, 100% owned by WeCloudData. So BeamData, you can put on the resume, but you have a client. So in this case, the client is the Global Mail, and there are two projects she did. The other one is Communitech 911. So this really helps because it's highly relevant real-time project. And then during the bootcamp, you will do 7 or 8 projects, including the capstone project, right? So you don't have to put them all on the resume. You can select 3 or 4 most relevant projects, depending on which industry you want to target. So you want to select those relevant projects and elaborate them, right? So every single project will look like that. So you have a clear description of the project, the industry. So this is e-commerce, this is retail e-commerce. Zoe is in Calgary, so she also did an energy project. And these are the tools: BigQuery, Tableau. This is Power BI DAX, SQL Server. This is Excel, Power Query, Power BI. So this is the stack, right? And once again, you see she has learned both Tableau and Power BI, all right? So the resume is just 1 page, but she included the second page on purpose. The second page is just some visuals. This is portfolio sample. But if the employer has only 10 seconds to spend on the second page, that really helps. And this is the effect you have when you only have a resume. And this is the effect you will get when you have the resume and the portfolio sample. I think definitely this will help you get selected for interview, right? And more importantly, you include the portfolio site. Right? So this is a website. If I click on this, let me go to the portfolio. Do I have the portfolio? Oh, here, yeah. So let's say if I go to retail industry megastore, you include the overview, you build a data pipeline, and this is the start schema, and then you define a KPI and some deep dive analysis, quarter analysis, organic growth analysis, and then you develop the dashboard. So this is the first page of the dashboard, and this is across. You can even publish this dashboard to Power BI service, and then give people a link so people can play with it, right? But once again, this is a website, and you could have the energy sector. Yeah, same framework. And this is much simpler. What else? Digital marketing. Google Merchandise Store. Overview. Data pipeline. So this is the schema of the Google data, Google Analytics data. Define KPI. I think you get the point. You get my point, right? Yeah. Question. You guys are quiet. Okay, so let me just show you how mentorship works, maybe. Okay, so we have we're on Slack. Let me show you the career service. It's a different workspace. So you can see on the left, we have many private channels. Everyone has a log. So every channel is a student. So in the channel, we have the mentor, myself as the admin, and also the program manager. Sometimes the mentor-mentee and they hit it up, they start direct messaging each other. That's totally fine, but we create this private channel just in case they need support. This is Tony. I think he just got some good news. Hi, I'm going to sign with PC Financial. I believe I will learn more and there's better opportunity to grow. So Tony also got an offer from LG, the Korean company conglomerate, because LG mainly uses Excel. So he thinks PC Financial provides better growth opportunity. And he's still interviewing. I have a case study with Click on Jan the 4th. Anyway, right? So this is one. I think today I received the other one. And this individual got a job for free in the home country. And he's asking for an experience there. No problem. Okay, so just so you understand how we operate. Okay, Jacob. If I put my company's real project in publish, it's not appropriate to show. No, it's not appropriate because usually the company project has, it is confidential to some extent, right? I don't think it will leave the future employer a good impression because it's confidential, but you're showing it to people outside of the company. And that's the reason why, we use similar industry-grade professional quality project, but yet they're not confidential. So you can use it without a problem. So be careful with sharing the existing company's work. From Sherry He, is there an option for the career service only without the bookend? Yes. So the answer is yes. Sometimes the students, they think they are already strong. They are already very strong on the technical skill. They already have a good portfolio, or they have already done some good project. They look good on their resume, but they need guidance, and they need help to get interview and pass interviews, and that's totally fine. You can just purchase the career services, but there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. But we can, if you're winning, we can give you a quick test to see where you're at in terms of technical skill, and then we can match you with a good mentor, right? So Sherry, that is a yes. And you could also purchase the real-time project and the career service without the bootcamp. Yeah, if you think you already know the tools, you just need to beef up your experience, right? Jacob, then how do I demonstrate myself? So Jacob, although you cannot show the sample work, you can still talk about it on your resume, right? So most people, they write bullet points on the resume. It's very hard to read and understand. I think we also have cases, people just put on bullet points, on the resume, and hopefully they will impress the employer, and it doesn't. So unless you really have done the project, and then whatever you put on the resume, either you don't feel comfortable or it doesn't make sense to the employer. So to answer your particular question, if you have had good experience, work experience, and the best way to show it is the bullet points you put on the resume, right? You cannot show, you cannot demo it, but I suggest you always have a few portfolio project that can really help you, because sometimes your work experience is not directly relevant. Then you could always go to your portfolio project. It's very convenient. You can demonstrate, oh, I have the skill. Because that skill or that experience, if you put on the job title and with this company, sometimes it doesn't make sense, right? And that is where you can leverage the project experience. And there are times your work experience, it is totally irrelevant, but you can still put the jobs on the resume, but with maybe 1 or 2 bullet points. But you use the valuable blank space for portfolio project, for project experience. And in this case, the project experience should go to the top, before your real experience. Okay, from Mark Shen. Hey, Eric, this is Yupin Shen. I am currently in a real-time project. Great. However, I'm still not sure if I want to pursue data analyst or data scientist as a new grad. Since I am considering switching to a different project, is it okay that you can take a look at? Yeah, it's totally okay. Sorry, he is actually direct messaging me, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to give everybody my email address. So please email it to me, and I will take a look. And maybe you can set up a quick meeting with me to talk just about you. I'm going to give you also my Calendly. It's really convenient. Just click it and you can book my time. Okay. Sherry, thank you, Eric. Since I am working full-time as a DA, that's great. And I am looking for guidance to reach my next career level. Do you think the career service could help? Absolutely. So either you want to, this career path doesn't have to be linear, right? From DA, you can become a data engineer. And nowadays, if your title has engineer in it, you can definitely make more money, right? Or you can put, so you have 2 strategies, Gary. You can go deep, so you become more specialized. Or you can go wide. So you can be a good BA plus DA plus BI, right? And you can also make good money. And we have graduates who land 6-figure salary only because they have a professional range. They understand business, they understand data, they're technical, they are also very good they're expressive, they're good at communication, right? And sometimes they say, I'm just technical enough. Long-term goal, I want to become a manager, a senior manager, or director. That's another career path you can consider. So you could become a technical leader. You could become like senior manager, data analytics team, or you could seek, promotion opportunity with the same organization. And if you're bold, if you're more aggressive, you already have a job, so you're in no rush. And that's a really good opportunity to present itself. And it's a different industry, it's a different company. That's also an option. I mean, I know quite some students within a year and a half, 2 years, they went from an intermediate analyst to a manager to senior manager. And our students, some of them are in hiring position now. We even have a few directors, and I invite them back to help with the new students. So Sherry, I want you to know that I am a mentor myself. So I'm working at WeCloudData full time. I'm one of the co-founders, so I can mentor you as well to define your goal for the next job, or maybe to really define a career path, so you can see clearly, where you can go. It has to make sense to you long term. So your current job could be a stepping stone, right? Leading to something significant. So we have students actually coming from the bank. Working for the bank sounds like a good idea, but it's not necessarily good for everybody. So we have students coming out of the bank, and they already have this experience they can put on a resume, and that really help them get interviews. But I helped one of them landed a real estate company. It's not a big company, but she worked side by side with the founders, so she really liked that. And plus the income is just way better, than her bank job. And she loves real estate. So again, it's a combination of several things, and she loves. So that's a good move. All right, any other question? If not, we can end the session earlier. So going once and twice and 3 times. Once again, send me an email or book me for a half-an-hour session, maybe 1 hour, to discuss your goal for the new year 2024. I'm not sales. You don't have to buy our courses, but sometimes it makes sense. It can save you time, and so you can find a better job faster. So if you can find a better job faster, then it pays for itself. So it's a very good investment. And nowadays, the skills that can make you stand out are hard to learn by yourself, right? When the market becomes competitive. If you work with a team, and you can learn new skills, you can build a good personal project portfolio, but the ultimate goal is for you to find a better job and build a career, okay, in a rising industry. Okay, so I'm going to end it here. I hope to talk to some of you again, and have a very good night, and good luck with 2024, everything you hope for.